YouTube? My name is Carly Fries, and today I'm going to be talking about the books that I read in January, the good and the not so good, and what I thought about them. The first book I read in the new year was the 5th installment of the Throne of Glass series by Sarah J. Maas, Empire of Storms. I honestly didn't feel the way I felt about this book as I did about the first 4. So that might be because reading the other 4 last year is kind of a blur to me. So obviously I'm gonna go into this one, being a little fuzzy. And I mean, there's just so much going on in this book. It took me a while to get into it. There are like 3 different storylines. You've got Aelin with her gang of friends trying to figure out how to become reinstated as the queen and to figure out how to stop the dark forces from invading. You've got a lead who has just escaped from a lifetime of imprisonment and she's trying to figure out how to get to Aelin, and you've got Lorcan trying to follow her, and then eventually they end up having their own separate storyline. And then you've got Manon, who is finally standing up to her grandmother and has to figure out how to make it on her own. And it's just the other 2 storylines, the ones that don't even involve Aelin and her friends, are just better. And it's the whole story is supposed to be about Aelin, and it's I don't even care about your storyline, you're just kind of boring. When I first started reading this book series, I was obsessed with Selena Sardothian, aka Aelin Galathinius, aka the Queen of Tirsen. So it's just weird to go into this book and be I don't really give a fuck. But the thing is though, is that when Manon and her storyline was first introduced, quickly became my favorite character in the series anyway. So I mean, I was a lot more invested in what happened to her in this one, and because her storyline, it's just you go back and forth between different ones, it's just I was kind of just waiting for this one to be over with, and that sucks because this is a really good series, but I guess I just couldn't get as into it as I was initially. It always sucks when a book series just slowly declines, even though, some people might have loved this book, and it's not a bad book, it's just it wasn't as good to me personally as the other ones were, and it's not fun to be a little disappointed by a book, but I mean, I still have high hopes for the next one. Sarah J. Maas is a great author, so I mean, this isn't gonna take away from how much I love this series. Next up is the December Owl Crate book that I received, Audrey Coulthurst of Fire and Stars, and there was so much hype for this book, and it sucks because it wasn't that good. I was so excited to receive this, and then recently I was promised a YA fantasy book that revolved around a lesbian princess who instead falls in love with her fiance's sister. Instead, I got a decent book about the perils of being a magic user in a kingdom where those kinds of people are persecuted, and the protagonist, Denalia herself, has magical abilities, and it's mostly about her trying to hide them so that she can forge this alliance between her and the prince, so that they can figure out a way to stop an impending war between kingdoms, and and obviously she's gonna want to protect magic users because she is one herself. And the supposed lesbian romance just takes a back seat to all of that. And it's just so sudden and so random that you're I don't buy it. You could tell that Denalia is not straight, at least, because she's literally disgusted by any form of male contact. The prince tries to kiss her and she's ruh, ruh, ruh. But as for Amaranthine, aka Mare, the prince's sister, she just wants to play with her horses. She don't give a fuck about Denalia. And yeah, okay, then they become friends, and she's okay, this bitch isn't so bad. But how the fuck does this bitch isn't so bad go from on one page to a page later, I think I have feelings, to 2 more pages later, they're just making out. What? It wasn't a bad book. I don't regret reading it. Don't market this as a lesbian romance because it's just not. If you go in thinking it's gonna be this great, epic, tragic, gay love story, you're gonna be disappointed because it's really not. I mean, it's cute, you like them together once it becomes apparent way into the book that, they do have something non-friendship-y going on. In my honest opinion, I don't believe that it deserves the sheer amount of hype that it's getting. The next book that I read in January was the third and final book in Kristin Cashore's Graceland Realm series, Bitterblue, and I really liked this book. Honestly, I liked this book more than the other two, and I enjoyed the first two books a lot. The first book is mainly about Kass, this Graceling, meaning a person who has abilities. Kass's ability is that she's like one of the most badass like fighters out there, and she like puts it upon herself to help free the kingdom from this bad guy Lex reign, because he also has powers but he pretends not to. Basically his power is the worst because he can control everyone and how they think and what they're seeing, and like he makes them think that he's like this good guy when really he's like torturing fucking animals and killing people. I hate that guy. And Lek is Bitterblue's father. So she's saved by Kass in the first book, and then when her father is finally overtaken in the end, she becomes a queen at like a very young age. So this book is about years later when she herself is a young adult and she has to like take care of this whole giant kingdom of Maas when she really doesn't know how to be a ruler. She has to rely on the help from her advisors, who are also her father's advisors, so they're all like dealing with a whole shit ton of problems because they were forced to do so many bad things when he was king, and like they don't even like completely remember it. Like there's not only have they repressed it, but like because he was controlling them, they actually can't, you know, sometimes tell the truth between, you know, like what's real and what's not. And so like Bitterblue's trying to rule, and she's got these people who are supposed to be helping her, but they're literally useless because they're just, you know, getting drunk and depressed and not really answering her questions because it's like traumatic for them. And basically she decides, hey, fuck you guys, you're literally no help, so I'm gonna pretend to be a cook in the kitchen of the castle. I'm gonna go hang out with like the townspeople and like find out for myself what the hell is going on in my own kingdom. And she starts to uncover a whole bunch of things that are being kept from her, and like secrets about the past and present. It's like her father is still present after all this time, and she wants to know why and what the hell is going on. And if you're ever wondering why Fire is the second book in the series and not like a prequel because it takes place so long ago, well, this book will kind of answer it, because the characters and the events of the second book are kind of brought back up in this book. So it makes you understand why they ordered the books the way they did, so that you don't accidentally read Graceling and then Bitterblue and then go read the prequel. I mean, I suppose you technically could read the prequel and then the two books, but I guess they put them like that so that no matter what, you're gonna read you're gonna read Fire before you read this one, because or else you're like, what? Anyway, I really liked this book, and this series overall is fantastic. I have nothing but good things to say about it, and I highly encourage all of you to go and read this series like now. And the last and worst book that I read this month was the fourth. Why is there a fourth book? It's Rebellion from the 100 series by Cass Morgan. Why there's a fourth book? I don't know. Why do you exist? I don't know. I'm terrible. I know. I'm sorry. You better be. But in all seriousness, why the fuck? Why? Why did this book come out, and why did I read it? There are so many book to TV adaptations going on nowadays. This is one of those times where the TV show is way better than the book. The first couple books weren't too bad. Like the first book was actually really good because like the TV show didn't exist, and it was a good concept. Like, you know, people, like a civilization being in space, and then like 100 like kids being sent down to Earth to see if it's inhabitable. The concept was good, but then it just kept like slowly declining. The plot lines just weren't as good as the TV show plot lines were, and then it's like now the TV show is going on, it's good, and then all of a sudden this comes out, and it's like something that just baffles my mind is, why on earth do you use the TV show cover and like characters for a book series that's completely different? Finn doesn't exist, Jasper doesn't exist. The book is completely different from the TV show, and by different in this case I obviously mean worse, but also just it's different. There's different characters, there's different plot lines, and this particular plot line, if you can even call it that, involves Wells and Octavia and Glass and all of them being kidnapped by some stupid cult that's basically like, yes, you will join us, but first you must mate. No, literally, you must all fuck each other in some giant creepy ass orgy in the middle of a river. Glass, who's starting to be brainwashed by the cult, is just like, that sounds fair. Like, what is wrong with these characters? And like, I forgot how annoying Bellamy and Clark and everyone is in these books. The only person I remotely even like in these books is Wells, and he dead on the TV show. Like, he dies like 4 episodes in. Like, and Octavia's just like, she just sucks in the books. She's such a badass. She's the best character clearly on the TV show, and here she's just like, she's just existing. She's just existing and not really contributing anything. And this book was so bad. Thank God these books are short, because I couldn't have taken it much longer. And on that note, those are the 4 books that I read in January. I guess not the greatest month for reading. Hopefully that's not indicative of the other books that I'm gonna read this year, though I don't think that's going to be the case, because there is one book that I just finished reading as my first book of February that is so good. So good. If you want to know what book I'm talking about, just wait until the end of this month, and I'm going to be talking about it in my video about the books that I've read in February, and you're not going to want to miss that. So thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, and in the comments down below, let me know if you read any of these books, what you thought, what books did you read in January. And as always, please subscribe to my channel. I make new videos quite often, book-related videos, beauty, unboxings. It would really mean a lot to me, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!